Alright, welcome back to the hangar. So I finally got the pipe in for the Bandit Models Diamond Back here. They haven't changed it yet to where it mounts solely on the tail, which is kind of disappointing, but that's alright. I mean, supposedly the design is to mount to the tail, so if you take the tail off, the pipe and the bell mouth stay with it. They have not done that change yet, apparently, because the one I received is, well, if they do change it, will be the old style, which attaches to the engine rails in the nose section. And for me, it's not a huge deal because I don't take the tail off. The only thing I really want to take off is like wings and like the horizontal and vertical control surfaces. That way, if I need to get them in someplace tight, I can. But as far as splitting the fuselage, it's not really important to me. I would like to be able to do it though. It's kind of nice when you need to get in there and do something to get the motor out. But this one, because you got the big opening in the top, it's not an issue for that either. So I'm gonna be, and I thought about it. You can make this mount even with this pipe and it being a little longer. You can make it mount to the aft section if you want. You can do it. It just adds about another inch that the pipe. This is about all that sticks out right now, and if you did it, I checked it, it's about like that much. So, and what it does is it would actually, I kind of like it better. It would actually bring the pipe out to where it's kind of flush with this overhang. That way you don't get any exhaust kind of when you're at idle or low thrust, kind of just sitting there, kind of going up in there and bubbling the paint. I will probably put some protectant in there because since I'm not going to do it, it is only about that much out the back, so you can get some heating in this area. You could take some pipe material, or like I have a roll of heating duct material that I can cut with shears, like the I can't say it today, shears, metal cutting shears, and I use them to make like heat protection in models before, so I can put a piece up there. But what I probably will do was just take some ceramic blanket, cut the pattern, and glue it up in there with some ceramic blanket, and then take some of the black spray paint that I have. It's kind of a flame retardant anyways, and spray paint over that, and it'll cover it up. That'll probably be the easiest one to do. It's light, it's simple, and it'll work. So it is a very tight fit on this back ring, which is nice. So I don't have to do any extra modding there. It comes with these little brackets. The holes are pre-drilled, and they have these kind of locking nuts, metal lock nuts kind of deal. So they have like on the inside, the side that actually touches the servo has some kind of teeth, and that allows you to tighten them down without having to be able to get to them on the back side. Would like to hold it. Once you get it down, you start tightening it, it usually bites in, and you can tighten it without having to get to the to have something to hold this. You can tighten it from inside. But yeah, and that's essentially what you're going to get, is that right there. And looks like they did take care of the pipe problem they used to have, where they were tacking the inner wall and outer wall at both ends, so that way when the inner wall would heat up and contract, it would stretch the outer wall because it's a lot thinner than the inner wall, and then because it was stretched, and then when it cools, it would cause it to crinkle and buckle. So that will happen if you don't have the best way to do it is to either have the front or the back. Typically the front would be the best way, is just have it where it kind of is not tacked to the inner wall, so it can kind of shift, because this is your hottest area right through here on the pipe, which is where you're going to get most of your expanding and cooling and contraction kind of stuff. So not having the outer wall to the inner wall tacked in this area is a good thing, so that's a plus. I am gluing in right now, even though I probably didn't have to, because these screws for the mount, the 3 outer screws, are kind of close to the edge. I'm gluing in some doubler kind of on the bottom to keep it from, give it some extra strength so the screws don't break through the side. probably not an issue, just in case. So I'm just adding some ply, like 1/8 ply on the bottom to kind of give it some extra material to hold into. And I've got the pipe all the way back against this. You can kind of see, it's kind of hard to see, you can kind of see where I drew, kind of outlined it in the 2 little holes. So that's where the pipe brackets will mount. It kind of sucks because this is what I don't like, is because I'm having to get back in there and try to do the screws, but it is by far, it's not the worst I've had to do that to by any means, so that'll be fairly easy to do. And then I've already marked where the turbine rails we'll need to sit, and you can kind of see where the holes are. They're kind of close to the edge there. And I measured, I'm exact, when the motor's in, I'm exact distance here on both sides of the rail from this front of this bulkhead. It was like 119 millimeters on both sides, so that kind of got me lined up. And then I put the pipe and the tail on, and I got myself, let's see if I can show you the marks here. You can kind of see them right there. That's where I'm doing those black lines, because the pipe actually comes forward about a 1/2 inch, almost 3/4 of an inch. The bell mouth actually goes into the pipe, so your distance should be from where the pipe is. So right about where that black line is, I'm doing 1 inch forward of that, which is somewhere kind of in this area here, which is where the tail cone will be sitting. It'll kind of push into about right there, so about 1 inch or so from this measurement right here. And I do that by simply getting everything put in, and then I'll take a long ruler with millimeters and I'll run it in, and I'll start at basically where that mark is, and then I'll go forward until it hits the back of the motor, and then as long as that's 1 inch, that's all I need. So but yeah, that's where we're at. I'm letting that dry. I'll get that drilled and put everything together. Leads are done. I was working on this too. I have a bunch of these Unilite connectors. This one is what is this one? What did I do? Oh, here we go. It is a 6 redundant primary contacts, 10 secondary contacts. So my plan is to put these in the wing and have the ailerons and flaps and gear, brake, and lights all on this. So it just basically, it kind of goes in and it clips into these. You got to solder them and build them. They're kind of bulky, but I've had them, might as well use them. They're a little heavy, but you essentially kind of put all these things together, and then they just plug in. Like this will go into the fuselage, and then this side, which has a clip on it, goes in and snaps into this. You got to build them and stuff. So I'll show you once it's done what it looks like, and then that'll be it, man. I think as long as I can get them out, I think I'm going to change these lights and go with my brain cubes, because there's a couple lights in here. Let's see, top, a bottom, one on each wing, and the nose. I kind of wanted to add some more lights, but I don't know. I may just say screw it, because they glued them in, which is ridiculous, because if this thing ever happens to blow, I know I get it's an LED, they're supposed to last forever, but as has been my experience, LEDs seem to be crap, in my opinion. But if they burn out, you're gonna have to grind them out anyways. So maybe I'll just go with that, and then when one of them blows and I have to grind it out, then I'll just take them all out and swap them out. But so we'll see. I don't know. I'm on the fence about that yet. So other than that, that's about it, really. I got the tank finished, which I think I've shown. This is the equipment tray. I'm actually I glued in the mount here, so you kind of can't really see through it or anything, which is kind of nice. I'm not going to put anything on here but batteries. So everything electronic wise is going to be underneath this board, and there'll be these little basically plug-in pieces for all my batteries that are hard mounted to the top of this board. So when I need to take this off, I'll lift it up, unplug the battery here, which will essentially just be a short run up to where the batteries plug in. So DLP2H2, which is the power system, 2 receivers. I'm going to give this Futaba gyro a go. See, I got a Cortex I can put in there if I want to, but I'm going to give it a go. Linear controller, and then of course the light controller will kind of go probably back here as well. And that really all that goes under there. Everything else, like turbine wise, is going to be mounted on top. The pump will be up here. I'm actually thinking about putting the sensor here, well, not sensor, but the hub for the turbine, which just kind of stick it right here on top of the tank, because the motor right here, it'll be a nice short lead going to the turbine, and then of course the lead coming out to the battery, and then throttle, pump, and telemetry will all run forward too. So we'll see. That's just kind of like the initial what I'm thinking. But that's kind of it for the night. Just a little update. I haven't been out here in a minute. Been waiting on this pipe. But the goal is to get this pretty much done, you know, minus finishing up like the wiring and everything installed. Get the everything installed and ready just for final wire run, making the other ends of the leads, plugging everything in and making it work, and then CG at that point before next week, because I'm rolling to the beach for a week. A much needed vacation. I haven't done anything vacation wise in a while. So anyways, you guys have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe. Sorry it's been so long on the build. I just had to wait on that pipe, and of course, you know, motivation sometimes isn't always there. You know, I still haven't got anything out of the trailer from Kentucky. I got to get everything. I've taken some stuff out, but this is all what was in the back of my truck. I need to get it out. I got to fix a couple things, get it ready from Georgia Jets in October. I got to find a way to store all that crap, to make it where I can just store it and transport it, because having to individually load all that junk just takes time. It's a pain in the ass. I got a lot of wing stores on my models, so I got to come up with a way to store all that stuff. I'm thinking about taking a box and getting some foam and cutting little holes in it, so you can just kind of stick all the ordnance straight in the top, you know, kind of like down in it, or something like that. That's really the only way I can think of to make it easy, you know. So, but you guys have a good one, and like I said, next video I'll get in and I'll get all this stuff installed, and I'll kind of show you how that's going and what it looks like. So cheers.